Hello everyone, it's Khaled. Welcome to today's daily pitch, 17th of April 2026. Let's dive into the latest economic events, technicals, and see what's moving the markets. Starting as usual with our economic calendar, let's see what do we have. Then we will be analyzing gold, oil, and US equities, see what opportunities we have for today. So starting with our economic calendar, okay, so starting with our economic calendar, well, in general, we don't have any important economic data for today. We had a speech for the US president, which didn't bring too much volatility to the markets. And later on, we have FOMC members speaking. We will see if it will bring any one-sided direction. The main focus currently in the markets is the geopolitical tensions, the news related to the ceasefire and the ongoing war that was taking place. Right now, of course, there's ceasefire. Traders are just looking in case there will be a deal or no. Let's have a look. Moving on to the charts, we can see that the dollar index is facing some weakness, of course, due to the, as I said, news related to the ceasefire. Investors are in risk-on environment. They are moving away from the US dollar. It's moving down. The treasury yields is dropping as well due to the drop in oil prices. Inflation expectations is dropping. And more importantly is the VIX, or the fear index, which has a negative correlation with the US equities. The fear index, beginning of the worst, it reached approximately It reached approximately the 30. Currently, it's below the 20 at the 18 level. So we will start by analyzing oil, see what are the possible scenarios in case we have any trade ideas, and then we will be moving to the US equities and finally gold. Looking at oil prices, this was during our last analysis. Of course, you can see in the oil chart, there are a lot of market gaps. This market gap was when the announcement was released that there is a ceasefire. This market gap, it was due that last week, the US and Iran didn't reach a deal. So we had a market gap up and then oil almost just closed the gap. I will be deleting these, marking new areas or adjusting the areas and then putting the trade ideas. Okay, for oil prices, I will be moving this a little bit down and I will be looking for the following. The first area of interest for oil is here at the 92.5 to 93. I want to see the candle's reaction at this level. Of course, supported by the fundamentals, which is the news related to the geopolitical tensions. Especially during the weekend, you should be very careful during the weekend, although the markets are closing, but we can see a lot of geopolitical headlines, and this could cause any gap like this up or down during the market open. So the scenario number one is that in case the candles retest the 93 to the 92.5, fail to break lower, we could be seeing this price movement up to the 99.1 again. Reaching the 99, in case we have any supporting news related to the fear in the markets and we broke higher, my next area of interest will be the 103 level. For oil, to be honest, I always prefer to not day trade, but swing trade. So in my case, I have several areas of interest. For example, a very important area of interest for me, which I prefer to see price retesting it, is the 85. Reaching the 85, I will be looking for price action like this with my next target at the 92. And in case we broke higher, we could be reaching the 100 again. Fundamentally speaking, regarding oil, even if we have a deal related to the war that was taking place in the Middle East, oil prices to be back to the 70, I believe it will need some time, because logistically speaking, the Strait of Hormuz, in order for the fuel tanks to be passing through it again, it needs several weeks. And regarding the oil refineries that were damaged during the war, they need several months for the production to be back. That's why my personal opinion is that we could still see oil prices elevated. The final scenario on oil, what if we broke above the 103 I'm going to say 103.5 to 104. Breaking below above this level, I will be targeting these highs here at the 111 to 112. So a couple of areas of interest. Be very precise on oil. Don't just enter randomly. Sometimes one headline could give you a lot of volatility and the candle could be moving hundreds of pips. So that's it for oil. Moving on to the US equities, let's have a look at the US 30. This was our previous analysis. As I said, a lot of market gaps, price reacted at this level. Currently, we are reaching the 50,000, 49,000. We will see the price action. I will not change a lot with the areas of interest we have. We broke above the 48,200. We are reaching the 49. Watch out for the market reaction here. In case we don't have any bullish candles breaking higher, we could be reacting and moving down to the 48,100 once again. But the better price action, I believe, will be on the Nasdaq. This was previous analysis on Nasdaq. We were here in our previous analysis. Price retested this level, the 24,000, then bounced back, and then it was able to break lower. Although here we had another bounce, here it broke lower and retested our second area of interest, which was at the 23,000. It was a very nice reaction at the 23,000. I believe in order to catch such trade, you should have a limit order. Or if you are watching the charts manually, you should be very fast, just clicking the buy button. So that's why I prefer a limit order at such higher areas of interest. Reacted here, broke higher, and currently breaking above the 26,400. So I'm going to delete the previous analysis and let's see what do we have. As you can see, with all the optimism there is in the markets, the US equities are breaking new all-time highs. Also, the S&P 500 is breaking record highs. But I prefer that investors will be very cautious because, as we said, oil prices are still up. Inflation expectations are still high. So this could be a market reaction of optimism, and then we could see some kind of sell-off. Back to the chart and the US and the Nasdaq. The first zone I will be looking for is the following. I will be marking this one here. And scenario number one that I would like to see is that if we have a candle engulfing these, closing bearish, we could be moving down, reacting to the 25,450 and reaching this level. In case we see that a consolidation or the bearish candles momentum are not enough to break lower, we could be reacting at these levels and seeing the following price action once again. Scenario number two, which is not my favorable scenario, what if we broke above these highs? Well, to be honest, breaking above these highs, my next area will be the psychological level of the 27 flat. It's a psychological area, but of course you will never know where price will react whenever it's breaking a new highs. So the most favorable one is here, breaking lower. You could take advantage of this move. The next area is the 25,500, and in case we fail to break lower, we could be moving above. These trade ideas for me are for today. In case I don't find any good price action or good entry points, I will skip. To be honest, I saw that the price action during this week was not the best, so personally I didn't take any trades. But it's Friday, we will see what will happen, and hopefully next week we will have a better volume and volatility. As for the S&P 500, very similar to what we have on the Nasdaq. The S&P 500 broke above the 7,050. So scenario number one, snapping back below this level, bearish candles closing below the 7,040. I will be looking for the following. If I see an engulfing candle like this, I will be looking for the 6,800 and reaching the 6,800. If we see that the price action is just consolidating at this level, failing to break lower, candles just having a lower wick but closing higher, this could be a signal for us to see the following price action, and I will target these candle highs at the 7,030. This is the first scenario. Scenario number 2, what if the continuation, bullish continuation continued, especially with NYSE and breaking higher? Well, breaking above this level, breaking above the 7,100, my next target will be the 7,150. We'll take it level by level and later the 7,200. These are the areas we will be looking for the Nasdaq, for the S&P 500. And finally, let's move on to gold. Unfortunately for gold, not the best price action. We all would like to see the following price action, strong one-sided move, but currently you can see a lot of fluctuations, consolidating, candles having lower and upper wick, so it's a bit tricky. Although gold reacted at this level that we marked previously at the 4,860, it had a snapback, but here the price action, as I said, we are on the 4-hour. Look at the 1-hour, it is not the best. So scenario number 1, I would like to see gold price action retesting again the 4,860, rejecting this level similar to what we had here, and for me targeting the 4,780 will be my next level. Scenario number 2, in case I will be marking this zone, not a major one but a minor one. In case I see candles breaking here, bearish candles breaking, the next one making an upper wick, my next target will be the 4,720 to 710 approximate. This is scenario number 2. This is the second scenario we will be looking for on gold. And finally, the last scenario, which is the more preferable scenario for me, a continuation of gold moving to this level, breaking higher, breaking above these candle highs, reaching the 5,000, and at the 5,000 we see a rejection at this level and then moving down. This is the better scenario for me. Number 1, the 5,000. The second scenario I prefer to see is the 4,860 to 70 rejection, and the final scenario, which is not my preferred one, is breaking below these levels. So in general, that's it for our analysis for today. Keep in mind that it's Friday. Sometimes we see a poor price action during this week. Not the best price action, as I mentioned, just one reaction from gold and that's it. Let's watch, and hopefully next week we will have better volume and volatility, better trade ideas and better opportunities. So guys, thank you so much for joining. If you like our content, don't forget to leave us a like, follow and subscribe. If you want us to analyze any currency pair, you can type for us in the comment section, and we will see you in our next session. Thank you for joining.